Okay, welcome to Wargroove. We're here at Act 4 of Mission 3, Prince of the Empire. Okay, so we have ourselves a relatively simple mission here.
Yeah.
So, first off, we're going to send Emmerich to the north in order to capture this village. We're going to build ourselves a swordsman, and then we're going to explain our general plan. So we're going to send Emmerich north, and then we're going to use a wagon to ferry him on this white space, so that way we can gain control of the giants. Once we gain control of the giants, it's pretty much going to be a cakewalk from there, because giants are one of the strongest units in the game. These are, again, like I said earlier in the series, these are effectively the medium tanks of this game. They hit fast, they take very little damage, and it requires large amounts of planning or specialized unit types to counter them. Okay, so the main plan after getting them is to just bum rush towards Koji, because Koji and whatever forces he built won't be able to stand up to the power of a commander, 2 giants, as well as after the swordsman we're going to get a wagon, and then we're basically just going to build a train of mages to continuously heal and reinforce the golems and Emmerich. So that's going to be our general plan. So we're going to rescue the golems, send them towards Koji, heal them with the mages, and that's going to be pretty much a sure victory at this point. So we're going to intern, see what the enemy does. Emmerich's going to move forward and capture this building.
A tactical advantage.
This swordsman is going to come to the east and capture this village as well as this village. We're going to get ourselves a wagon, which is we're going to use to transport Emmerich, and we're going to intern. This swordsman is going to come to the south, capture. This wagon is going to come here. Emmerich is going to hop inside of it. And we're going to begin building our train of mages. Spearmen going for a capture on the village. Yes, now that we awaken the golems, they're gonna both come down, and we're basically just gonna force them to go eastward, and that's where we're gonna continue our fight. These swordsmen are gonna come up. We're gonna build ourselves another mage, and we're gonna intern. Emmerich's gonna come down and capture this village.
A tactical advantage.
And now we're going to calculate 4 spaces away. That's where we're going to put our wagon to transport Emmerich. These golems are going to advance. These swordsmen are going to capture this village. These mages are going to continue moving north in order to link up with our golems. We're going to build another mage, and we're going to intern. The swordsman moving for another capture. Okay, so we're going to move this golem to the south.
Wow!
And this golem to the north slightly of this village, and we're going to use this mage in order to capture this village. Unfortunately, it will be targeted by the ballista, but that's going to be fine considering we're also going to move in Emmerich in range, so Emmerich can absorb some attacks, and then counterattack and weaken their forces as well. These swordsmen are going to vacate from this area. Now they're going to try and move all the way up north to try and capture this village. It's basically the only use they really have left. As after that, we're going to continue building more mages and sending them forward, and now we just in turn. Spearman going for attack on Emmerich, but he's going to use the defense to counterattack extremely well. Bringing them down to 3. Fortunately, the Bliss is going to come in and strike these mages, bringing them down to 6. The dogs are going to move in for attack on our village, but they're going to get themselves weak in doing so. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to move this mage here in order to finish off these spearmen. Emmerich is... oof. So we're going to actually move down and we're going to place a heal down on Emmerich. So that way the attack is guaranteed to kill the swordsman.
I have a spell for this.
Though I'm pretty sure you could chance it. Ultimately, I don't think in this point it's really worth chancing it. I mean, at this point, we kind of don't even need the train of mages anymore. We have a lot of mages, and it's just going to be a walking conquest with the 2 giants as well as Emmerich himself. So with that, we're going to advance. We're going to destroy the dogs. And again, this is just going to show this mission is just to show the raw power of the golem when it's in your hands. So we're going to advance the swordsman, the mage, this final mage. We're going to sort of keep the wagon close. Yeah, we're going to sort of keep the wagon close so we can advance Emmerich in really fast if we need to. Ultimately, we're just going to in-turn. The Ballista decides to go in for an attack on the giants. It's not going to do that much. The knight comes in for an attack on our giant. But they're just going to weaken themselves. So now we're just going to... yeah, now we're just going to just march forward and destroy their Ballista. These mages are gonna advance and they're gonna heal this golem. Emmerich is gonna move forward and he's gonna throw down an Elder Shield in this mountain. The reason for this, the reason for throwing down the Elder Shield in the mountain, well, first off, is just to get rid of his groove. But then on top of that, it's also to, on top of that, it's also to keep distracting the enemy and forcing them to fight near this area in which we're going to have the supreme advantage. We're actually going to move this golem here to the north, whilst this mage comes in and attacks this knight. Because it's pretty much standing on a rope with no defense, there's going to be very little it can do to actually counterattack. Some damage, but not nearly enough to help it out. These mages are going to advance. These swordsmen are going to jump in the wagon, and they're actually going to stand right here and hopefully provide, some more bait in order for the enemy to just attack into nothing. And with that, we're going to end turn. The mages decide to come in for attack on the golem. But because the golem is in such high defense, he's just going to shrug it off and then counterattack with a massive force. The dogs come in for an attack on our cherry stone. And unfortunately, while this pikeman is going to destroy the cherry stone, ultimately it's done its job. It's forced them out of hiding. So now we're going to rely on our other tools. First off being using this golem in order to, in fact, we're going to put the golem in the mountain. We're We're gonna wipe out these pikemen. And then forward, we're going to wipe out these archers.
I have a spell for this.
This mage is going to stand in this man and heal the golem. The golem is going to move forward, and actually we can have a second mage, so we can just come in and throw a second heal on top of that. These mages are going to move forward and they're going to quickly strike these dogs. These golems are going to advance and they're going to wipe out these mages. These mages are going to advance. These swordsmen are going to advance. I mean, we're even going to... Yeah, actually, no. We should allow Imric to take this damage in order to keep him in range in case they decide to attack with the harpy first. So with that, we're actually going to end turn. They decide to go in for an attack with the knight first, which is completely fine.
Lightning blast!
Imric's lightning strike is gonna bring them down. They do capture that village at the north, which is unfortunately, but ultimately it's not that much of a problem. The dogs come in for an attack on our wagon. And Koji decides to retreat to the north. So we're actually going to move this golem north. We're going to move this mage north. We're going to throw down a heal on both the wagon and Imric. Imric's going to retreat into the wagon, and we're going to throw the wagon in front of these swordsmen. And then on this side, we're going to advance with the golem. And that should wipe out these knights. While the mages come in, they're not going to attack. These mages come in, and we're basically just gonna move these swordsmen here. They pretty much have no purpose. As for that, we're gonna end our turn. The archers are gonna come in for an attack on our golem, do a few points of damage. The harpies decide to come in and do some damage. Okay, but ultimately they've made another blunder. They've left their commander exposed on multiple sides. So we're going to take advantage of that by moving these mages forward to heal the golem and Imric, just to make sure they're at full fighting strength. We're going to advance with the golem. The golem is going to take the first hit because it's very likely that Imric, once he moves in here, is going to be a potential target for everyone. Unfortunately, Koji's defense is going to prove to be a bit of a challenge to deal with, but that's something that we can manage.
Lightning blast!
Imric's lightning blast is going to come in and further weaken him. We're going to take some damage in return though, but at this point it's pretty much over. We're even going to throw this mage inside the wagon. We're gonna put the wagon here and drop the mage off here. These mages are going to advance, but just wait. We're gonna keep this golem stationary. We're gonna keep him exactly in that position. And as we move forward, we're gonna throw a heal on him. Yes, as we move forward, we're going to throw a heal on him so he can just take another hit. At this point, it doesn't matter. Koji's made his final mistake. He's going to stand on the mountain and attack our wagon. Meanwhile, the harpies come in for an attack on Emmerich. The swordsman follows suit and does the same.
I have a spell for this.
The archers come in for an attack. And the ballista decides to target the golem. The swordsman comes in for a futile attack on our village, but it's the mission is already over for them. So we're gonna move this wagon out the way because now it's time to actually finish this battle. So we're gonna move this mage here. He's gonna heal both the golem and Emmerich. This mage is gonna come to the north, heal both the golem and Emmerich. This golem is gonna move onto the road and attack Koji. And on turn 12, we are victorious. We're gonna attack and we're gonna finish it off with Emmerich.
You were simply outmatched.
I'm sorry, Mom.
So ultimately, that was a pretty simple mission. We have 12 turns, units defeated 12. Again, you can do this a bit earlier. It just sort of depends on where Koji moves and how quickly you can close in and take him out with the golems and Emmerich. But ultimately, this is a relatively simple mission. It's mostly just to show you the power of the golems when they're in your hands. So long as you're careful to not leave them in range of something like, say, a dragon or the critical range of a trebuchet or multiple archers or a knight, they're ultimately the most powerful weapon and a tool for our arsenal that I'm frankly glad to finally have now. So, that's all I can say for this one. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.